You know, I've tried, guys. I've really tried. I have given it my all, but at this point, Ubisoft and everything they're doing with Assassin's Creed just makes it extremely hard to remain optimistic, positive, upbeat about the franchise. And I'm going to show you what I mean, because data miners have found something which is so utterly ridiculous that I thought I was being pranked when I first saw it. I thought it was like one of those hard drive, like Onion articles. It was fake news, but funny fake news. I thought we were having one of those moments. And no, this is real life, and we live in a simulation because things are this ridiculous. Also, like I said, we're gonna get right into it here in just a second. I just want to let you know I'm live over on Twitch right now as this video goes up. So if you're watching this on a Monday, Wednesday, or a Friday, go check out the stream. Like right after you finish watching this, head over there. Links in the description box below the like button. I'd love to see you over there. So I'll see you there. I'll leave it there. No more like begging for you to come over and say hi, but I would love to see you if you are free. It's always cool when people pop over and are like, hey, I just saw the new video. Hi, what's up? I find that super cool. Anyway, I'll see you over there. So this article comes from Kotaku, and again, we're living in a simulation. You can't make this stuff up. Assassin's Creed Valhalla leaks tease an Iron Man crossover. Yeah, an Iron Man... An Iron Man crossover. You cannot make this up. We live in idiocracy, and Ubisoft is engaging with it. It's amazing. I honestly am at a loss for words here, but I'm still making a video, so I will try to come up with things to say. Basically what happened is that Assassin's Creed Valhalla data miners recently discovered files of an Iron Man skin that shoots a unibeam from the chest. The skin is currently not available in Ubisoft's digital store, but fans, I'd like to know who these people are hoping that it gets released sometime in the future, which this is just, it's a funny phrase, like fans are hoping it's released sometime in the future. Like, when else would it be released? Anyway, the armor was found by an Assassin's Creed data miner named Peter, maybe, I don't know, who previously mined DLC information from the game's files that later proved to be accurate. The YouTube videos show a red and yellow armor set that shoots a laser beam from the chest and a similar looking white variant. The unibeam can be activated with the Battle Cry ability in Valhalla. The pack also includes a mechanical raven, a mount, and 2 swords. And again, as you see in this YouTube video by Andy Reloads, who shows off this footage of these outfits and suits, it looks to be a thing. This isn't like, oh, we speculate this might be a thing. Like, no, it's in the game and you can activate it and use it, and it's just utterly amazing. Like an Iron Man looking sword. I don't understand. What are we doing? And like, does this look horrible by itself? No, it would be right at home in a Horizon Forbidden West game, which seems to be the direct inspiration for this particular skin you see on screen right at this very moment. And you can see Andy Reload shows some comparisons for the inspiration there. And then the robotic bird. I just like, some people will not be bothered by this. Let me be clear. Some people have a very high tolerance for sort of fantastical DLC skins and paid extras and cosmetics. It doesn't really tear them out of the game because these things are, after all, not actually in the base game. These are things that you only get if you engage with them after the fact. At this point, years, or going on years, I think technically, after Valhalla's launch, so it's not that big of a deal. If this came in the game day one, yeah, it would be really stupid and way worse, I think, but it's a DLC. Like, you got to give them a little leeway, and I want to make sure that I'm not like dogging on them for putting some weird DLC in here, because I mean, every other major franchise does this type of thing with DLC that probably wouldn't fit into the main story or main campaign, but it still can be fun. Like the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon DLC. That was something that was genuinely fun and engaging for a lot of people, and it didn't fit in with the theming or anything of the base game, but it still was a good time. Even though it was like a Blade Runner, Tron looking 80s reskinning and reworking of the gameplay systems, it still added something to the game, which I think for those of us that weren't taking the DLC too seriously, we could engage with and have a good time with. But let me be clear. I think the reason that this like Iron Man and mech suit thing is looking so stupid and is getting so many people to crack up, just dying of laughter, is because it so perfectly encapsulates what most people's problem has been with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and that is that Ubisoft seems to be totally divorced from reality when it comes to figuring out what is going to make this franchise stand out as truly unique once again. What made Assassin's Creed work initially, in my humble opinion, was the free running, the navigation through cities that no longer exist, such as Paris or Venice. It doesn't exist in that same form. They still exist, but like not that same way. Just like, London in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, still a city, of course, but it's very different today than it was in the game. So you can explore these locations in a really fun, engaging, and interesting way with the free running that is just not possible in other games. But then with these recent releases, with Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, we've seen a simplification, and I don't want to call it a streamlining because streamlining implies improvement, whereas simplification implies like dumbing it down to the point where you lose something. And that's what we've seen with these games. They've oversimplified the free running mechanics such that they are entirely mindless. I got some flack because I said Stray was pretty mindless in its navigation. As a kitty cat, you just hold down A and point the stick wherever you want to go. That's pretty mindless to me. Same thing with Valhalla, with Origins and Odyssey. It's pretty mindless. You just hold down A and they climb up, they climb down the surface, whatever it is, doesn't matter. They're totally fine. It's mindless and it's not engaging. So they've done that. They've gotten rid of the free climbing, which made these games stand out. And they also got rid of the big city and set piece locations that at least I came to know and love in the previous games. Instead, now focusing on large, expansive open worlds that are mostly empty fields and forests, which are dynamically generated by the engine, and are, let's be honest, pretty bland to explore. Sure, they plop in some interesting points of discovery, but there's not a whole lot here that makes it stand out as truly unique or special. And then they come along with this, with an Iron Man mech suit, bizarre Horizon Zero Dawn looking crossover, and it just reaffirms that Ubisoft is wholly uninterested in going back to what the previous games did in terms of being grounded and attempting to be based in some reality other than a reality based off of another game's success. And it's just really disappointing. There's a ton of amazing artists, thousands of very gifted artists and developers that work on these Assassin's Creed games, literally thousands of them. And it's just so disappointing to see that all they're allowed to do is basically follow up on the success of other franchises to try and make something great instead of just trying something unique and different. Like the creativity is just wholly lost on them because management is so resistant to that risk. Probably the best example would be this latest trilogy of games. Instead of trying something really unique or different in their reinvention of the franchise, they decided to just try and go with Witcher 3 reskins. And I love me some Witcher 3, and I would love more Witcher 3, but there's a reason The Witcher 3 stood out as truly exceptional, because it was exceptional, meaning it was different from things that had come before. But these games are just more of the same, which by definition means they're not exceptional. And even in these discussions with Assassin's Creed Infinity, which is the next huge release that they're set to announce and unveil probably in September at some point, it looks like it's just going to be Assassin's Creed meets Fortnite. And it's going to be a large ever online platform with big expansions and map reworkings and a living, breathing map that changes and evolves over time. And it just looks like they're trying to find the next thing to copy and follow up on, which inevitably just makes their games feel unexceptional because it's just more of what we've already seen. And so while these individual skins that have been data mined don't prove the case that like, oh, Ubisoft is just copy and pasting and doing, the bare minimum, it's just one more piece of evidence. It's one more straw on the camel's back that's about to break that demonstrates that Ubisoft is just not really interested in doing anything crazy, unique, or new, or taking any risks or doing anything that would, I think, inspire some excitement in the fan base. And instead, they're just going to do the Marvel Fortnite crossover thing. And who knows, maybe they'll also start doing the Warzone thing where like they start putting Snoop Dogg in their games, and then every time they patch it, it breaks again, unless you happen to pay for the pack that has the weapon that allows for you to get past the meta guard that makes the game unplayable otherwise. I don't know. It's just disappointing. And I've really tried. Like I said, I made a video 2-3 weeks ago where I said the future of Assassin's Creed is bright because they're looking to release a stealth-based Assassin's Creed game, which to me looks like, okay, well, Ubisoft is going to try to experiment with something to see how they can increase player engagement, because right now most players are abandoning Valhalla after 20-30 hours through the main story, at least according to my surveying and polling. And that doesn't work if you're about to release a game that's always online and is set to entertain players for thousands of hours. If players are abandoning your recent release after 20, how are you going to get them engaged for thousands of hours? You're simply not going to do that based on what you're doing right now. So they've got to do something different. And my optimism was saying maybe they will try something that will be better, and they will experiment with stealth and returning to form with these big cities and expansive worlds and things. And it just doesn't seem like that's the case. You know, everything that they do just further demonstrates that they are trying to figure out why Fortnite has been making so much money instead of what's just going to make the best game. And it's just disappointing. As a longtime fan of the franchise, you know, it's getting really, really hard to argue with a straight face that this franchise still has some gas in the tank. It's disappointing. Like it's almost depressing, if I'm going to be honest. And I think that's why, in a point of candid honesty here, I think it's why I've tried to put on like the optimism hat and lead the fans of Assassin's Creed in a march of optimism. And, you know, no, there's still hope. Maybe things aren't as bad as they seem, but maybe there is still a chance that this works out. And I'm just getting tired. You know, it's just getting really, really hard to justify and defend these types of things. I don't know, like, not throwing out any names, I don't know how some other YouTubers are able to do it, because I know a lot of the guys and girls that cover Assassin's Creed. They're wonderful people, amazing creators, extremely talented, workaholics, and they're extremely passionate about this franchise. I would never doubt any of that. But I don't know how you can see this stuff and still maintain excitement for future releases, because every time I see something new from Ubisoft about Assassin's Creed, I just get like my migraine deepens and worsens. And like I said, I'm just tired. I'm tired. So I don't really know what else to say, but I think I'm ready to just focus on other things. If you have any games that you think I should try to kick my Assassin's Creed fascination, let me know in the comments section. I'll be going through that. If you have any franchises or open world RPGs that you think I should give a shot and maybe cover in videos in the future, let me know. I would love to hear about them. I know we're going to be covering the crap out of Hogwarts Legacy this fall. Of course, God of War Ragnarok, all of those big releases we're going to cover. But if you have any like little known or older games that I should try out, let me know. I'll be I'll be looking for something to play. And like I said, I'm over on Twitch right now as this video goes live, playing through God of War 2018 and chatting with all of you. So if you have thoughts on this video, want to share them with me in person and get my immediate feedback or thoughts, head over there. I would love to see you. But I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. I love you all more than you'd possibly know. Even when I put out L takes, and even when I try to be optimistic about things that really don't, let's say, warrant the optimism, you guys still come back and support me, and you let me know when I make a mistake or when I'm too harsh, and that helps me grow and learn as a creator. So I appreciate you guys doing that. You know, as hard as it is to hear sometimes, I do really appreciate it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I look forward to hearing your game recommendations in the comment section. And with that, I bid you adieu.